Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Pijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Praja Janaran Jana Yasodanandana Praja Janaran Jana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki Antaraj Srimad Bhagavad-gītā as it is ki Srila Vyasadeva ki Guru Parampara ki Bhakti Vedanta purports ki All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. So we're reading from Bhagavad-gītā as it is, chapter 2, text number 2, and the chapter is entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized. Take this book away and take this away. You can take this and this away. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 2, Contents of the Gita summarized, text number 2. śrī-bhagavān uvāca. Kutas kaśmalam idam. viṣame samupasthitam. anārya-juṣṭam asvargyam. akīrti-karam Arjuna. Somebody likes to help.
śrī-bhagavān
Bhagavan
kutas kaśmalam idam. viṣame samupasthitam. anārya-juṣṭam asvargyam. akīrti-karam Arjuna.
One of the Matajis.
śrī-bhagavān uvāca. kutas kaśmalam idam. viṣame samupasthitam. anārya-juṣṭam asvargyam. akīrti-karam Arjuna.
The word for word. śrī-bhagavān uvāca. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, kutaḥ, wherefrom, unto you, kaśmalam, dirtiness, idam, this lamentation, viṣame, in this hour of crisis, samupasthitam, arrived, anārya, persons who do not know the value of life, juṣṭam, practiced by, asvargyam, which does not lead to higher planets, akīrti, infamy, karam, the cause of, Arjuna, O Arjuna. You can repeat the translation by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. And in the purport by Srila Prabhupada, Krishna and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are identical. Therefore, Lord Krishna is referred to as Bhagavan throughout the Gita. Bhagavan is the ultimate in the absolute truth. The Absolute Truth is realized in three phases of understanding, namely Brahman, or the impersonal all-pervasive spirit, Paramatma, or the localized aspect of the Supreme within the heart of all living entities, and Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. In the śrī-bhagavān, first canto, chapter 2, text 11, this conception of the Absolute Truth is explained thus. Vadanti tat vavedas tatvam yajnanam agnyayam prameti paramat meti Bhagavan iti sabhyate. Who was trying to chant? Raise your hand. Chant. You said?
Vadanti tat-tat-vidas tatvam yajnanam agnyayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavan iti sabhyate.
Thank you. And the translation of the verse. The Absolute Truth is realized in three phases of understanding by the knower of the Absolute Truth. And all of them are identical. Such phases of the Absolute Truth are expressed as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Unquote. These three divine aspects can be explained by the example of the sun, which also has three different aspects, namely the sunshine, the sun's surface, and the sun planet itself. One who studies the sunshine only is the preliminary student. One who understands the sun's surface is further advanced, and one who can enter into the sun planet is the highest. Ordinary students who are satisfied by simply understanding the sunshine, its universal pervasiveness, and the glaring effulgence of its impersonal nature, may be compared to those who can realize only the Brahman feature of the Absolute Truth. The student who has advanced still further can know the sun disk, which is compared to the knowledge of the Paramatma feature of the Absolute Truth. And the student who can enter into the heart of the sun planet is compared to those who realize the personal features of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Therefore, the bhaktas, or the transcendentalists who have realized the Bhagavan feature of the Absolute Truth, are the topmost transcendentalists, although all students who are engaged in the study of the Absolute Truth are engaged in the same subject matter. The sunshine, the sun disk, and the inner affairs of the sun planet cannot be separated from one another, and yet the students of the three different phases are not in the same category. The Sanskrit word Bhagavan is explained by the great authority Parasara Muni, the father of Vyasadeva. The Supreme Personality who possesses all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation is called Bhagavan. There are many persons who are very rich, very powerful, very beautiful, very famous, very learned, and very much detached, but no one can claim that he possesses all riches, all strength, etc. entirely. Only Krishna can claim this because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No living entity, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, or Narayana, can possess opulences as fully as Krishna. Therefore, it is concluded in the Brahma Samhita by Lord Brahma himself that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to or above him. He is the primeval Lord, or Bhagavan, known as Govinda, and is the supreme cause, of all causes. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchid Ananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Quote, there are many personalities possessing the qualities of Bhagavan, but Krishna is the Supreme because none can excel him. He is the Supreme Person and his body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. He is the primeval Lord and the cause of all causes. Unquote. From Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 1. In the Bhagavatam also there is a list of many incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Krishna is described as the original personality of Godhead from whom many incarnations and personalities of Godhead expand. Ete chamsakala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Medayanti Yuge Yuge. Quote, all the lists of the incarnations of Godhead submitted herewith are either plenary expansions or parts of the plenary expansions of the Supreme Godhead. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. From Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 28. Therefore Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, the source of both the Supersoul and the impersonal Brahman. In the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna's lamentation for his kinsman is certainly unbecoming, and therefore Krishna expressed his surprise with the word kutaḥ, wherefrom. Such impurities were never expected from a person belonging to the civilized class of men known as Aryans. The word Aryan is applicable to persons who know the value of life and have a civilization based on spiritual realization. Persons who are led by the material conception of life do not know that the aim of life is realization of the absolute truth, Vishnu or Bhagavan, and they are captivated by the external features of the material world, and therefore they do not know what liberation is. Persons who have no knowledge of liberation from material bondage are called non-Aryans. Although Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he was deviating from his prescribed duties by declining to fight. This act of cowardice is described as befitting the non-Aryans. Such deviation from duty does not help one in the progress of spiritual life, nor does it even give one the opportunity to become famous in this world. Lord Krishna did not approve of the so-called compassion of Arjuna for his kinsman. Can you put this a little away? You can flatten it. Now put that flat down. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, why do we take a vow to follow the four regulative principles? That means no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex life. And then Srila Prabhupada answered that is to make you a human being. Then the disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, so why do we take a vow to chant minimum 16 rounds of japa daily? Then Srila Prabhupada said that only a human being may be able to take to spiritual life and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So Srila Prabhupada said, first we have to bring people to the human platform, although they have human bodies, but they are, you could say, living the life like animal life in human bodies. So the four regulative principle brings one to human life in human bodies. And when one chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra Japa, which is the principal positive vow that one prepares for before initiation, then during initiation and after initiation, that is called spiritual life in human bodies. So in a broad sense, in the world of, in this material world, those who are not spiritual, those who are human beings, and those who are transcendentalists, these are the three categories. That people live animal life in human bodies with unrestricted sinful activities. Then this human life in human bodies means to follow the four regulative principles. And then the spiritual life in human bodies, which means to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra Japa. So in this particular purport, Srila Prabhupada gives an elaborate explanation of the word the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the first lengthy paragraph. And then he explains the word Bhagavan in the next paragraphs. And then he discusses the verse itself in terms of Arjuna's weakness of heart, of acting as a non-Aryan. So the word Aryan means that one is a gentleman or a proper lady in the material world. But Arjuna was bewildered by, you could say, affection by his relatives and other members who are close to him on the other side, the Kauravas side. So the question may be asked that how is it that Arjuna is with Krishna but is becoming bewildered? So that is Krishna's arrangement for Arjuna. See? Because Arjuna is an eternal associate of Krishna. And therefore for him to get into Maya or illusion, it must be Krishna's plan. Because in the intimacy of Krishna Leela, only eternal associates and liberated souls can take part. See? So Arjuna's illusion is an excuse for him to get into illusion, to take us out of illusion in the material world. And that's how the Bhagavad Gita is being spoken. Okay. Because Krishna is being explained here as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which Arjuna is not aware of at this point. Arjuna is feeling that Krishna is my friend, Saka. And Krishna feels the same way about him. So in order for Arjuna to change the relationship of a friend of Krishna, he must be put into illusion, so that Bhagavad Gita can be unfolding and spoken to all of us for our benefit, to come out of illusion and connect to Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada also repeatedly in the purport uses the word supreme absolute truth. So these are two unique phrases that describe Krishna. One is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which was never ever heard of before. Even from Vedic scholars and even from other spiritual leaders, even from Bharata Bhumi or India. This term, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is originally coined by Srila Prabhupada and no one else. See? And the other term that is used in this purport, which Prabhupada introduces here, is satyam param dhimahi, that Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. So Prabhupada takes advantage of the word śrī-bhagavān uvāca to bring out these 2 points. Excuse me. So generally people, they may accept the word God, and generally people have a tendency to become God and try to make others God. But nobody can become the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And nobody can become the Supreme Absolute Truth. Because the Supreme Absolute Truth is original and cannot be imitated or duplicated. See? But the term God can be. Because the word Bhagavan is also given to Narada Muni. It's also given to Lord Shiva. But in the context of, you could say in one sense, a type of controller for devotion, or a type of controller for tamagun, the mode of ignorance. But they're not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Neither are they the Supreme Absolute Truth. So, Srila Prabhupada also says in the purport that Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead doesn't have an equal, and neither anyone is above him. So, one time when one impersonalist called Mayavadi, he was sort of, they don't believe Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. They want to become Bhagavan themselves. So one devotee who was barely 6 months in the movement, had an exchange with him like that. So, that Mayavadi, sort of a guru of many people, he was defeated by this devotee who was barely 6 months in the movement. He told him that, why you want to become God? We are being taught to become greater than God. So he was shocked. So he said, how? He said, well, my Guru Maharaj, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada, he has told us that why become God when you can control God? So then this devotee gave the example of Mother Yasoda, of how Mother Yasoda controls Krishna. Then the devotee gave the example of Srimati Radharani, of how she controls Krishna. See? And then because of this aspect, the devotee started telling this Mayavadi guru that God is sort of, in one sense, inverted commas, fed up of being God. But those who are not God want to take his place. So Krishna doesn't want to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he comes in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that quite bewildered the Mayavadi. It bewildered him quite a bit. So the Mayavadi, he sort of discounted all this as some sort of leela you're speaking about. So this devotee, when he came back to Srila Prabhupada, he explained what had happened. And Srila Prabhupada didn't comment, but he was just beaming, smiling, from end to end. He was so happy that, here's my disciple who was just 6 months with me and he's defeating big Mayavadi gurus. He was so happy about that. Yeah. So therefore the Supreme Absolute Truth has a feature where the Supreme Controller can be controlled by affection, care and love in the form of devotional service. So that many people get bewildered by, especially the Mayavadis or impersonalists. So I'll leave more time for questions in general and for comments if you have. We can take it now. Anyone? Yes. Ramdas. Hare Krishna.
So one can say that the devotee...
Is there a microphone or is just no microphone? Speak a little louder.
Yeah. So one can say that, Mother Yashoda and Srimati Radharani, they control Krishna. But in a way, Krishna has instructed Yogamaya about the whole Leela that he wants to perform. And they are parts of it. So ultimately he is the controller of the whole Leela, isn't it?
In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna definitely instructs Yogamaya to come here first, and then his associates come. Yeah. However, your question is nice, but it begs the explanation of how is Mother Yasoda eternal or not. Can you answer my question?
She is eternal. Because
So, if you, she's eternal. So there's no question of Mother Yasoda or Radharani coming into existence at some time where they get this sort of potency to control Krishna. No. Okay. One should know that Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You digesting so far? Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. You digesting now again?
in rasa.
So Srila Prabhupada said that if we say something 3 times, even if you don't understand it, you'll begin to understand it. So I'll repeat. Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. So I'll repeat for the third time. Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. So then the next question I can ask you is which comes first? The Supreme Personality of Godhead or Krishna? Which is first?
Krishna.
Yes. So the supremacy of Krishna comes from Krishna, but Krishna himself is independent of being the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes. That is just one of his aspects.
Yes. So you can say in one sense, God is a position, or the Supreme Person is a position, but it comes from a person. So the person is original and not the position. So therefore Radharani and Krishna and Yasoda and Krishna are original. Is that okay?
Yes.
Someone else? Another question? Yes, what's your name? Chakravarti. Okay, speak loudly so everyone can hear your question.
So, I think I'm not a good devotee. So, I want to become a good devotee, but I don't know how. How can I become a good devotee? So, I want your suggestion.
So his question is that he is a devotee, but he feels he wants to improve as a devotee. Am I saying the right thing here? Chakravarti?
Right, I don't think so. But I don't think so.
No, I am saying that from my perspective you're a devotee. I'm not speaking from your perspective. Understand? So he is saying that he is a devotee, but he wants to improve as a devotee. See? So this is a good consciousness, that one wants to improve as a devotee, and you want to know how. Is that the question?
And know Krishna actually. Know Krishna more well.
You want to know Krishna better. Yes. So one is that one should chant the holy names. You know? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the other is to be in the favorable association of devotees. And included in being in the favorable association of devotees is to serve the devotees. We okay so far? So there's two things. To chant the holy names, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, either in kirtan or in japa. And the other thing is to associate with devotees, but practical association means that one should serve devotees. Okay? So the third thing is that in order to appreciate the devotees that one is serving and not become almost familiar, one should preach to new people who are not devotees yet. See? So when you preach to new people, you are in between those persons who are not devotees yet and the devotees. So in that way you receive shelter from the devotees and then you give shelter to those who are not devotees yet. So this is the three aspects and that can help one in a broad sense in Krishna consciousness to come closer to Radha Krishna. Chakravarti, is that okay?
Maharaj, I think I have been performing devotional activities for 4 or 5 months before. I think yet I'm not being able to get more closer to Krishna.
So let me ask you a question. You've been connected in Krishna consciousness for about 5 months, right? Now.
In 2017, I had a devotee. And,
That's a few years now?
no, not few years. But in 2017, I was a devotee, but later on, I fall.
That's okay. That's okay. But in the last 5 months, you've been following nicely. Yes or no?
But I'm not being able to follow.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah. The fact is that you're asking the question shows that you are sincere. Shows that you are? You are? The fact that you are asking that question to make spiritual progress shows that you have a sense of sincerity. See? However, although one may be sincere, one may not be serious. We okay so far? Yeah. So to be seriously practicing Krishna consciousness includes sincerity. But in the beginning stages or formative stages of coming to Krishna consciousness, you come with sincerity. So that sincerity has to be, you could say, protected, treasured, and looked after. So if you continue to be sincere, although you cannot be serious in your practices, eventually you'll become serious. See? It may take some time for some people, it may take lesser time for other people, but you're still on the path. You're not leaving the path of devotional service. Is that okay? So I have answered your question earlier on. You should continue to chant the holy name. You should associate and serve devotees. And whatever you have gained from the association of devotees and from the chanting the holy name, you should offer it to others who are not devotees yet. That means you preach. You continue those 3 things. Don't be too much in anxiety of making spiritual progress the way you want to make it. You have to accept Krishna's plan of how you progress according to your sincerity, and then your seriousness in your practices will develop more. Is that okay? Chakravarti Prabhu, is that all right? All right. From the Matajis, Vaishnavis, any questions, please? Anyone? There's some other questions from the men's side, so the ladies, if they have any question. Okay, Ram.
So, Maharaj, you said Krishna put Arjuna into illusion in order to preach Bhagavad to us through him.
Mm-hmm.
So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India, he took Krishna Das, who got lost with the Bhattaharis.
Mm-hmm.
So, did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put him into illusion?
See, the lesson to be learned is that even if you, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or even with Krishna, you can still fall into Maya. And Srila Prabhupada gave his own example. He said, some of my personal assistants personally served me, but they also fell into some illusion. Yeah. So the lesson is that bhakti is not forced. You cannot enforce devotion on others. So it has to be voluntary even in the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What to speak of even the association of exalted personalities like Srila Prabhupada. However, whatever happens in relation to those who are put into illusion as a lesson for us to learn, they are mentioned in scripture. So, so the question can be asked, how do you get a personality like Duryodhana? Krishna is right in front of him, like that. And how do you get a personality like Hiranyakashipu? In that sense. They're like against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. So in one commentary, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur tells us, they are all under the Lila Shakti, or the pastime potency of the Lord, to bring others into the Lila Shakti who are similarly placed in a conditioned way in the material world. If you didn't have a Duryodhana, then the glory of the Pandavas will not come forth. They never, Prabhupada said that the Pandavas never asked Krishna for protection. Only including Draupadi at the last minute. See? So therefore, a devotee, even if he's in the most precarious situation or most provoking situation, somebody who was a very exalted consciousness, they won't pray to Krishna to please help them. They will feel, no, I deserve worse than this. Like that. But they don't give up bhakti or devotional service. At the same time, for regular devotees, when we in times of distress or need or difficulties or issues, we pray to the Lord, please solve this for me, I'm going through so much of anxiety and stress and pain. We do. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that's not a you could say a fault in the devotee. It's part of bhakti. It's part of bhakti. But an internally mature devotee doesn't want to take any service from Krishna, including being in a difficult situation. Krishna, please help me. So that is why these things are arranged. But we cannot imitate that exalted consciousness of these great souls. Yes, Mataji?
Personally,
what's your name?
Shama Sakhi.
Shama?
Sakhi.
Sakhi. Okay.
Yeah, personally, sometimes we feel when we chant more seriously, the life tests you more and more, and our faith become, dwindle a little bit. That I don't know, Krishna testing us so much. Sometimes we really become doubtful that that we become more serious. The test will become more serious. We're scared of losing faith in Krishna.
I'm not sure if I'm understanding you correctly, but I'll try to paraphrase what you want to ask, and then you can tell me whether I understood. Yeah. Sometimes a devotee, he chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra Japa, and he tries his best to hear while chanting. However, the more he chants and the more he tries his best, the more problems he gets. So then he decides that maybe I should stop chanting and the problems will reduce.
Not like that, but it's feeling like that. Can Krishna give us so much difficulty? Is it there?
No, I'm asking you whether I understood your question by saying this. See, when you chant Hare Krishna, some devotees may get more into difficulty, in their lives. But they thought they'll come to Krishna consciousness by reducing the difficulties. But it increases. You understand? Then what they do is they give up the chanting. And then they go back to their old ways with their friends and family members and other activities. You understand so far? Yeah. So what happens is that when you take to Krishna consciousness, Krishna may be more merciful to you to accelerate the process of your reaction. See? It's called a fast track. So what you meant to go through like 108%, you're fast tracking in about 5%. So the more you chant, the more difficulties you experience. So Krishna wants you to finish this life in this one life and come back to Him. So when they go back to their other activities and stop chanting, they're going on the slow track. But they come back.
Because taste is there, you want to do it, but you don't want to stop. But scared that you will go higher and more difficulty because like you are doing master or doing PhD. So PhD is always, I feel sometimes.
You first use the word taste is then you don't want to stop. That's your words. And then you said the more you chant, you want to go higher and higher. Like that. But the more you chant, you go lower and lower, not higher and higher. That's the problem. The more you chant, the more you feel you need to chant. So you go lower. See? If you're chanting more to go higher, then you can't go lower. Because when you go higher and you reach the peak, you'll only fall down. Because from high you'll fall. But the more lower you go, then the more you can hold other people higher, other devotees, to push them up. See? So the chanting should do that. The more you chant, the more you feel others should go higher, and you can hold them up from a lower position. I'm just using your own words to try to explain to you, in your own words. See? One does not chant to become pure. That's an illusion itself. That's Maya. See? One chants to see the purity in others. Can you repeat what I said last?
One does not chant to become pure.
Then why does one chant?
I forgot the last sentence.
One chants to see the purity in others.
Purity in others.
In other words, the more you see others higher than you, the more you can lift them higher. So you have to be at the bottom to do that. Is that okay?
Yes, but I still feel like I feel scared that if I chant more and more, become a serious thought, then there will be tests that I may not be able to. I mean, I'm feeling like my.
You see, you have to digest what I said. Because one may be conditioned to chant to become pure and then see others as lesser than you. Not good.
Yes.
So one chants to go lower to push others higher. And the only way you can do that is when you chant that you can see the purity in others. Don't worry about yourself. See? So you were saying that when I chant I become more and more serious, but I'll be tested more and more. Yeah, the test is that you cannot be more advanced than others. That's the problem, to become serious. You continue to chant and your seriousness should be, you should seriously see the purity in others. And your seriousness should be that you should seriously be lower to push people higher. Are you digesting?
Trying.
It'll take some time. Cetodarpanamajanam, the first verse of śrī-bhagavān means that I should become purified to see the purity in others. Not that I'm becoming pure and everyone see how advanced I am. No. That is Maya. You cleanse your own heart so that you can see the purity in others. Okay? So therefore purity is the force. It means to have the potency or the force to see purity in others, not in one's own self. That's the chanting. Is that all right? It's already time, so I'm going to ask people who didn't ask yet. Is that okay? Both of you have spoken, but we have a hand on this side. Yes?
You were saying that we can see the Pandavas, they served Krishna, but they never asked for his protection or anything like that. So
Srila Prabhupada mentions that. I have my notes in various ways he mentions that.
So if we feel like we need help, we're helpless against Maya, we're in a situation where we actually need his help in order to continue the process, in order to chant nicely.
Yes.
Sometimes you're in a position where you feel like, I have to pray to Krishna because I feel like I'm not doing very well and I need his help and I have to recognize that I'm helpless. I can't do it myself. Is that a lower position?
No. I already discussed that earlier on in my explanation. Srila Prabhupada said that when you chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, especially japa, it is like the genuine cry of the child for its mother's presence. These are these exact words from the explanation of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. There's one part. It should be like a child's genuine cry for its mother's presence. So that's called helpless. One is helpless. So the word help and less are two words. See? You're crying out for help because you feel helpless. Like the child is lost and the child knows that I have a mother and the mother knows that I have a child. So the relationship is already established. Just like the child knows the mother knows the child. See? So therefore we can only cry out when we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra if our relationship is already established with Radha Krishna. If the relationship is established, you are there for me and I'm here, but I'm helpless without you, so I'm crying out. That's different completely from, from something else in terms of being a helpless state. Prabhupada gives that example. Yeah. And actually, Srila Prabhupada gives so many, because I do this in a course called Japa Ashraya course. And Srila Prabhupada gives so many, instructions and advice that when we chant, we should hear. But when a child cries out to the mother, the child is crying out for the mother to hear. But when we chant Hare Krishna in sadhana, devotional service and practice, we chant so that we have to hear. See? But in the mature stage of chanting, when the relationship is already established with Radha Krishna, then you chant for Radha Krishna to hear, especially Srimati Radharani, who introduces you to Krishna. So when Prabhupada gives his analogy that the chanting should be like a genuine cry of a child for its mother's presence, he means that, where the relationship is already established. The mother knows who's the child and the child knows who's the mother. That state of helplessness is to reconnect with the Hara, who will introduce you to Hari. That's a little different. See? In other places that Srila Prabhupada said that when we chant, it's as if we are crying out to Krishna. See? So you can only cry out to Krishna if you know Krishna. Krishna already knows you, but if you know Krishna and the relationship is established, then you can cry out easily. Just like the child knows the mother, cries out easily for the mother's presence. See? So in that sense, you don't need to hear the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra anymore. Because it is implicit when you cry out for the mother to hear from the child doesn't know it's hearing its own crying. And that's the perfection of japa. So there are two stages. One stage is in sadhana. Sadhana means that when you chant, you must hear. But in the sadhya stage, in the perfectional stage, you chant because Radharani must hear. Like a genuine cry of a child for its mother. Now that stage you have to be helpless. Because you are not dependent on any other thing. And you're not dependent on your own hearing of the mantra also. And automatically you are hearing if you cry out helplessly without you knowing that you are hearing. Is that all right? All right, we'll end here for today. It's 10 minutes more we took today. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Guri Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ki, Nathai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare.